everyone, this is Kathy Green, Marketing Manager with KidMed. Today for our KidMedical message, we're talking to Dr. Mark Flanzenbaum. Our subject today is telemedicine. So, Dr. Flanzenbaum, telemedicine is a buzzword. Everybody's talking about virtual visits, telemedicine. Can you tell us a little about it?
We set up telemedicine sort of as an adjunct to what we're doing in the clinic to allow for people to be able to speak to a provider, whether it's a physician, nurse practitioner, physician assistant, about an issue with their child or themselves if they're over 18, without having to have that fear of coming into the building for fear that I'm going to be exposed to somebody else. And it was completely new to us when we started it, and it's actually caught on quite well. People have been very pleased with the ability to get their their questions answered with a provider without having to leave their home.
That's great. What are some of the things that can be diagnosed via telemedicine?
It's interesting. We weren't sure at first what we were going to get with that. We thought it was probably going to be stuff like rashes or my child has a cough, but it really has ranged to everything, including injuries. We've taken a look at cuts and lacerations by having somebody take their child and literally hold them up to the camera so we can see what's going on there. But almost everything that we have seen in the facility, we've also seen on telemedicine. And what we've done is we've tried to gauge it, and we have a very good process amongst our providers that if it is an issue that really requires a face-to-face exam where the child has to be listened to with a stethoscope, or if it's a wound that needs to be repaired, we do recommend that they come in and we change that visit from a virtual visit to an in-house visit.
Okay, and so it's fairly a seamless process. So they don't have to come in and re-register or start over again? They can just come in?
Well, what we do with that is the fee for the telemedicine visit gets eliminated. Any copay they may have paid gets applied towards the in-house visit. There is a little additional paperwork when they come in, just as far as getting them into our electronic medical record system, but it's pretty seamless. But yeah, there's no double billing, and we do work the process that if I see somebody on a telemedicine visit and they do need to be seen in person, I will call ahead to the closest facility to where the person lives and talk to one of the providers, and we are able to get them in fairly quickly.
Okay. What if it's something as simple as a strep test or a urine test? Do they have to go and become a regular visit, or can they just come in and be tested?
No, that's a great question, Kathy, because what we have done is for certain tests, the point of care tests, which we include as strep tests, flu tests, the urinalysis, and even the send out test for COVID testing can be done where the parent brings the child in, the test swab gets done or the urine sample gets taken, and then they leave, and then the person who did the telemedicine visit, the provider, would then call them with the results. So they're in the facility very briefly, or if they're even concerned about coming in the facility, we can have one of our lab personnel, go out and actually get the sample in their car if they wanted to.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. And so as far as hours go, are the telemedicine hours the same as KidMed hours? Are they different?
We have been alternating those based on our experience of how things have been going. What we did initially, and I think it's been the right thing to do, is we cut off the telemedicine about an hour before our facilities close to allow providers plenty of time if a patient does have to have their visit changed from a telehealth visit to an in-person visit, so they have time to get to the facility before we close. So during the weekdays and the weekends, we close the telemedicine an hour before the end of our operating hours of the facilities. In the past week, we have extended the opening of telemedicine to now begin at 10 a.m. on weekdays and continues at 10 a.m. on the weekends.
Well, that's really convenient for parents.
Yeah.
Now, if I wanted to schedule a telemedicine visit for one of my children, how do I do that?
It's very simple. You just go onto the website, kidmedva.com, and there's literally just a telemedicine button that you click on, and it brings you right to the registration page. The registration process is very, very simple. It's a few bits of information on there, and then the one of our front desk personnel actually will call you and get insurance information or copay or whatever is needed from the registration standpoint. Fairly seamless process to get that done.
Sounds like an amazing service that KidMed is offering to everyone.
We think so. We were a little hesitant at first because we're also used to taking care of kids face to face, but as time has gone on, it's actually become fairly easy to do. And I think parents really appreciate the ability to have a face to face conversation with a provider. I personally have found that when I've been the provider doing those calls, I feel like I actually have more time to spend with a parent. I think they get more of my attention. I think the process works well.
Wonderful. Well, this is Dr. Mark Flanzenbaum and Kathy Green with KidMed talking about telemedicine. For more information, go to kidmedva.com. Thank you and have a great day, everyone.